Billy the Marlin.
Stomper.
Mr. Squidward, welcome to the night shift.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Night Shift with Isaiah Leong, the agent Skip Bayless, and James Gonzalez. My name is Lauro Antonio, and we have a lot to be talking about here today. And James and Isaiah, how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm
I'm
great.
doing way better than I did when I woke up this morning, that's for sure. I mean, I woke up this morning with a really sore, stiff neck. Couldn't move it one bit. My neck was literally stuck like this, and I had to pop it into place and get a massage, so that was good. But it's been a great day, Sadly, St. Peter's lost, so that's what's sad about it. But hey, baseball season is about a couple weeks from starting, and we're ranking our top 5 MLB mascots tonight. So that's amazing because I love me some MLB mascot, and it surely takes the sting out of the embarrassment that was the Los Angeles Lakers tonight.
What about you, James? What is your thoughts on this? How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. I just want to slap someone the way Will Smith slapped Chris Rock tonight.
All right. Anyways, folks, let's talk about some March Madness Elite 8 as the number 1 seeded Kansas defeated number 10 Miami 76-50. And I think that Kansas could be the best team in the tournament here. What is your thoughts here, Isaiah, on Kansas potentially being the best team?
My thoughts on this was that the Kansas Jayhawks, they woke up in the second half. I think they realized how they had let down their fans and how they had let down a lot of people in the country, and they turned it on in the second half. They were down 35-29 to Miami, who was the 10th seed going into or in this tournament. And when you look at what Kansas was able to do, they did things in the second half that they didn't do in the first half, and that is knock down a lot of the three-point shots. They were unstoppable from three in that second half. That really was the reason why they busted it open, and it wasn't a close game about 7 minutes into the second half. I mean, Kansas just took complete control of this game in the second half, and I think a lot of the big reasons why, like the 3-point shooting, we mentioned about it, but the play of their guard, Ochai Agbaji. I don't know if I'm saying his name correct, but he had a tremendous game. He had 18 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. McCormack was tremendous. He was lights out from 3 as well. He had 15 points, 4 rebounds. But Kansas just woke up. They played tremendous defensively down the stretch, and they just made their threes while Miami just couldn't get anything going. So that was the turning point of the game. I don't know what Bill Self said in that locker room, but what he said surely worked for Kansas in the second half. This was probably one of the biggest this was probably the biggest halftime turnarounds I've ever seen in an NCAA tournament, from being down by 6, from playing really sluggish basketball, and then just to wake up and turn that switch on just like that. Very impressive stuff by Kansas. But hey, let me say this. They're not going to be able to do what they did today against Villanova next week if they want to win that game, because you cannot play sluggish basketball and get down against Villanova and expect to come back and light it up from downtown and win next week. Villanova is a tremendous defensive team. You're going to have to play great basketball from start to finish if you want to win that game.
What about you, James? What's your thoughts on Kansas defeating Miami here?
Ochai Agbaji, man, this dude, he's going to be a lottery pick. I would think the Cavs would go after him and definitely make an impact. But Yeah, Kansas, after the first half of playing just soft, they only allowed Miami 15 points in the second half. It was just an amazing defensive performance. Then offensively, they took it to the Canes, and Miami wasn't supposed to be here, honestly, but it's basically the way that Kansas played in the second half. Miami played to get here, but Miami just ran out of gas. They used all of their gas, and then Kansas finally woke up. And I think, like Isaiah mentioned, Bill Self teared him a new one in the locker room at halftime and said, "We are Kansas. We were 32-6. We're not going home against the Canes." To me, I feel like they're the strongest team. Villanova has some injuries. North Carolina, Duke, there's some flaws there. All year long, Abachi and others there, McCormick, Braun, they've all been stellar for the Jayhawks and easily took the Big 12 this year. So it's going to be a fun game with Kansas, but it showed today experience took over Miami.
All right. Anyways, folks, so we got Big B here. Big B, welcome. What's your thoughts on Kansas defeating Miami 76-50 to go to the Final Four?
Man, from what I saw in highlights, that second half was the big turnaround. Whatever the coach said to get Kansas going in that second half worked. I mean, I think they closed the game with a 10-0 run, I believe, or 12-0 run, something like that. So congrats to Kansas. I mean, you're moving on. So the Final Four should be two good matchups to watch now.
All right. Anyways, the Cinderella storied 15-seeded St. Peter's Peacocks magical run came to an end today as number 8 North Carolina wins 69-49 over St. Peter's. Was UNC just a better team, or the Peacocks just ran out of luck? I think it was both. The Peacocks just ran out of luck. UNC was just a better team. That's what I think. Big B, I'll start with you since you just came on. Was this UNC just becoming a better team, or is the Peacocks just ran out of luck?
Man, Laura, I hate to agree with you, but I think it's kind of a mixture of both. I mean, we know anybody that plays for North Carolina, Duke, Kansas could probably be starters on any other program. So they got the talent. The clock struck midnight, as we would say, on the Peacocks, and I mean, hats off to them. I mean, a 15 seed gets to the Elite Eight. It's probably going to be further than the Lakers and Timberwolves combined in the NBA playoffs. So hats off to them, and hopefully we see them back next year.
What about you, James? Was it more about UNC being a better team despite UNC beating St. Peter's, or the Peacocks just out of luck?
Yeah, like I mentioned, and like we all think here, both. Cinderella, we all know when midnight strikes, it's over. And eventually, this was the time. They were the darlings of the tournament. I mean, everybody was going for them after a while since the brackets were busted and all that. But North Carolina definitely had the experience. They definitely have great players going in. Manic with 19, Bakat with 20, Love with 14. Just all around solid play. And they honestly had the game from the start. St. Peter's, credits to them, they did make a little run in the second half, but they already lost the game in the first half. So it was unfortunate, but credit to St. Peter's for going this far. I think it's the first time a 15 seed ever went to the Elite Eight. So,
yep.
Props to them.
What about you, Isaiah? Did you think that with UNC beating the Peacocks of St. Peter's, was it a 69-49 win, or was UNC just a better team, or the Peacocks just ran out of luck?
I think UNC was just a better team, to be honest. I think that when you look at this game, North Carolina just started fast. They were more physical. St. Peter's, you got to give them credit with the run that they made. But when you look at what they did to start this game, you could just clearly tell that North Carolina was the more conditioned team. They were the more athletic team. They were the team that just looked way more talented than St. Peter's. And they went, I think Carolina started out the game 9-0. And then it was like 23-9 at one point. Like, it was a blowout from the get-go. And I know that that St. Peter's ended up making a little bit of a run. But this game, like James said, and Big B has said as well, this game was over in the first half. It was done. I think Carolina was up by as many as like 25 at one point in that first half, early second half. It was over. And, you got to give credit to St. Peter's because they basically proved everybody wrong. They had a struggle in the middle of the season, and then they somehow turned it around. They win their conference championship. They get into the tournament, and then they pull a whole bunch of upsets that nobody saw coming. So if you're a St. Peter's player or you are a St. Peter's fan, like there's really nothing to hang your hat on because you guys had a tremendous season.
Yeah, it was a tremendous season for St. Peter's, and also their head coach is probably going to be leaving for his alma mater at Seton Hall. So we'll talk about that another day. So let's talk about our Final Four outlook here as Villanova takes on Kansas and UNC takes on Duke, who I want my pick to win between Villanova and Kansas. I'm picking Kansas to go to the national title game. Big B, I'm going to go to you. I know you have one more to add to this. Who's your pick for the Final Four game between Villanova and Kansas?
Just a quick add-on. I think first, if St. Peter's would have had that week off to study North Carolina, probably got a different story. So, but my pick, Duke probably. I mean, Duke North Carolina is going to be probably a classic game to lead the tournament. So either one wins that one, I'm not going to be upset with. On the other side, again, another instant classic. I'll probably go Duke and Kansas. Give Krzyzewski a chance to go up against two of his nemesis, I guess, in the coaching world. So, I'll go Duke and Kansas in the finals.
I'm actually going Duke and Kansas as well. I have Duke beating UNC. I think both of these games are going to be very good, and it's also going to be close. So, James, I'm going to go to you. What is your take? What's your thoughts on Villanova and Kansas and UNC and Duke? Who are your picks for the Final Four?
Well, with Justin Moore, the guard for Villanova, getting hurt, he tore his Achilles in the game against Houston, I believe, on Saturday. He's undergoing surgery, and he's out, and I think that's going to be a big loss. And I thought anyway, with Kansas being together as they are, I thought they were going to win. So I'll go with Kansas there. But, yeah, I believe this is the fourth time this season North Carolina and Duke are playing each other. If you count the two regular season games and then the ACC tournament, I believe. At any rate, this is going to be all-timer, hopefully, and it's what everybody wants, especially in that region. And the fact that this is Coach K's last season puts a little extra zest and spice on this, so I can't wait. I'm probably going to go Duke. I think they have the firepower, and they're going to totally dismay North Carolina. But there's also a scenario where the underdog, North Carolina, the A seed, can overtake them. But I think the experience with Coach K there, I believe Duke, and I'll go Duke versus Kansas.
I have Duke and Kansas playing in the national title game. What about you, Isaiah? Who's your pick to go to? Who's your pick to win the Final Four? And I have Duke and Kansas going to the national title game.
I'm actually going to pick a stunner. I think North Carolina ends Coach K's career on Saturday? Next Saturday? Saturday
yeah,
night?
On Saturday.
Yeah, I think that Hubert Davis, the first-year head coach, and his Tar Heels will manage to pull up and upset Duke and end Coach K's career when they play on Saturday night. I just have a lot of faith in Carolina. They're rolling right now. It seemed like Hubert Davis gave some sort of stir or some sort of message to his group that ignited a fire and turned that whole season around for them in the second half of that season. And they just seem like a team with a destiny, and they're on a mission right now, and they are playing together. They're playing outstanding basketball right now. I believe after they lost by 20 plus points to Duke in Carolina, they ended up winning like 10 of their next 13 games or something like that to go into the tournament, and now they're on this roll in the tournament. So I got to go with Carolina over Duke. I think it's going to be a classic game like you guys mentioned, but I think that Carolina will gain the upper hand in this game. And then in terms of Villanova and Kansas, I got to go with Kansas. If Villanova's guard, the guy that tore his Achilles, if he didn't get hurt, it might have been different. But I just think the injuries and the fatigue will be too much to overcome for Villanova. So for me, I got North Carolina versus Kansas. And I really wish that Roy Williams was still the head coach of North Carolina, because that would have been Roy Williams – basically the Roy Williams national championship, since Roy Williams coached both Kansas and North Carolina and was so successful there. But that matchup would be tremendous for sure.
Absolutely. But anyways, let's talk about the NBA. I didn't even bother watching this game because the Lakers, however, blew a 23-point lead despite 39 points from LeBron James. They fall to 10th in the West as the Pelicans beat the Lakers 116-108. I'll tell you guys this. I watched the Grammys instead. I mean, the Oscars instead, because I was focused today on March Madness and also the Oscars, because the Lakers continue to disgust me night in and night out down the stretch. And as the games go on, the Lakers' chances of making the playoffs or the play-in tournament are slim at this point right now. San Antonio plays Houston tomorrow. There's no chance that I think that Houston will upset San Antonio. I think San Antonio sneaking is playing good at the right time, and the Spurs, I think, are going to get into the play-in tournament at this point right now, because the Spurs are a sneaky good team down the stretch, and it's because of the coaching by Greg Popovich. So the Lakers have the Mavs on Tuesday, and their chances of winning that game remains low, and their April is really tough. And even if Anthony Davis comes back, will it help? Yes, but the Lakers just need to find a way to hit the reset button and move on and hit the reset button for next season and try to still build this team around LeBron and AD. I would still keep Westbrook, but the thing is with the Lakers is you're not going to win with an old roster like this, Isaiah. What's your thoughts on this game?
My thoughts on this game is I was like you, Laurel. I didn't even bother watching this game. This was supposed to be the biggest game of the Lakers season, given the playoff implications and all of that stuff. But when I saw the first half was great. I mean, they were up. I think they were up. I believe it was like they were up 15 in the first quarter, and then the Pelicans closed it, and then LeBron just goes insane in the second quarter, and then the Lakers open up a 20-plus point lead. And I looked at the box score, like, okay, I think the Lakers have it. I think they have it a bit, and then they just come out flat in the second half. Like, this is a funny stat, guys. The Los Angeles Lakers scored 39 points combined in the second half. The New Orleans Pelicans had 41 points alone in the third quarter. That's how pathetic this second half performance was by the Lakers, and it was just a totally different team from the first half that we saw to the second half. The Lakers were like Jekyll and Hyde in the first half and the second half. I mean, they were tremendous on offense and defense, moving around without the basketball, giving full effort on defense, just being very, very stingy on defense in that first half. And in the second half, it was like the Lakers decided, at halftime, we're going to pack our suitcases and go to Hawaii in the second half, because nobody showed up. Like LeBron, it was only him. There was no movement. It was just everybody standing around watching LeBron James dribble. And then 5 seconds left, LeBron drives to the basket, gets doubled, tries to kick it out to someone, but it's too late, or kicks it out to someone. The guy airballs a 3. And then on defense, I mean, everybody was just running around like, I mean, they were just lost out there. It was just so bad. Like I guarantee you, my 5th grade basketball team could have played better defense than these Lakers in that second half with how lost everybody was. It was just unbelievable what I was seeing with how these guys are just running around like, oh, it's your man. Oh my gosh, I thought it was my man. Like, there was just so much confusion, miscommunication, disorientation in the second half. And it's a shame that they did. And I, like you, Laura, I was very disgusted. I personally stopped watching the second half. I turned on freaking Arthur at the second half instead of watching that garbage on the basketball court. So it was just disgraceful. And I thought that, after what we saw in Cleveland, what we saw the last 3-4 games with the Lakers, that they had turned a corner, that they were giving better effort. They were playing the young guys. They were giving energy, all that good stuff. And then just for them to come out in the second half, you have a 20-point lead, put on that performance that they did was just utter garbage. And, Loro and James and Big B, I don't think the Lakers will make the play-in at this rate. I really don't, because Laurel laid out their schedule in April. If you can't hold a 20-point lead against the Pelicans, and you can't even beat the freaking Wizards without Kyle Kuzma, how are you going to run through Phoenix, run through Golden State, run through
Minnesota,
run through the Pelicans again, run through
Minnesota?
You're going to beat any of those teams to get into the play-in. And the Spurs, I believe, are now a half game behind you for that 10th spot. So, they have an easier schedule. I just don't see any way possible. Even if AD comes back, I don't see any way possible the Lakers make the play-in. I think the season is officially toast for the Lakers.
What about you, James and Big B? What is your takeaways on the Lakers blowing a 23-point lead over the New Orleans Pelicans?
Go ahead, James. You go first.
Okay. The Pelicans are doing so well lately. I know the record doesn't say that, but they're 4 games back of the Clippers. They could easily catch the 8th spot there if they really wanted to. And it's a good thing to see. A lot of people, wrote off New Orleans. They thought they were going to trade all their assets and whatnot. But I'm really proud of them not giving up on the season like they are. It's easy too, because you could just say, hey, Zion's not able to play. He's in a shape, but not, in shape to play basketball. Even though he's throwing alley-oops off of the backboard and dunking, but somehow that doesn't translate to NBA action anyway. So I'm very happy about the Pelicans doing what they've been doing. Brandon Ingram with 26 tonight, Jonas Valanciunas, who gets lost in the eye of the public, 19 points. Jones with 16, CJ McCollum with 19. Someone named Troy Murphy III with 21. That's key contributions from the New Orleans Pelicans. For the Lakers, LeBron did everything tonight. He played 42 minutes. He took 6 minutes off. 39 points. Westbrook with 18. Malik Monk had 23. It was great to see him play well. The thing is, Horton Tucker had 7, but Austin Reeves, Square Two's guy, and Stanley Johnson, they both played 20 and 19 minutes, but guys, they had the same amount of points as we did in the game. Nothing. So that's really bad. And those two can't contribute. And Carmelo's playing 15 minutes and only putting in 3 points. DJ Augustine, who had a good game last week, playing 12 minutes but only had 6 points. That's really bad. They got to step it up. San Antonio, they're coached well, but they also have great young talent. Murray and the other guys, I'm very proud of what they've done this year too. Of course, everyone's lucky that there's a play-in tournament, or else, we wouldn't be talking about these teams the way we are. So again, it's a real bad look on the Lakers. If you want to see the Lakers winning, you watch HBO Max or HBO and watch Winning Time. The fourth episode is out tonight. It's been a great show, or a great series so far. It's about the Showtime Lakers. But this game, I'm just more happy about the Pelicans, doing what they've done the last 2 months throughout, the Zion saga. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, they've been playing really good basketball despite and leaving the Zion Williamson saga behind them. And Isaiah, what did you want to add here to this game before I turn it over to Big B here?
Well, I know that James was giving my guy Austin Reeves flack for scoring 0 points. Yeah, he had 0 points. But I'll say this about him. I think that he definitely had a better performance than Johnson and probably THT as well, because even though he had 0 points, he did have 6 assists and 7 rebounds as well, and he was tremendous defensively, which is kind of his role on the team. If you look at his role on the team, it's not to be a scorer. It's to be the rebounder, the defensive mastermind guy, and also to be like the guy that passes the ball and make the offense go. So he kind of did his job, but you're right, James. Like all the other guys, Carmelo. I mean, this dude is supposed to score. He's supposed to give you like 20 points off the bench, and recently he's been giving you 3. He's been giving you 5. He's been giving you 2 points off the bench. Like what kind of performance is Carmelo Anthony even giving you right now? He's not giving you anything on the basketball court. And you look at THT, the Lakers signed him to a 2-year, $16 million contract in the offseason. They prioritized him over Alex Caruso because of his scoring. And he's only putting up like an average of 5 points a game. So I've always thought that this dude was one of the most overrated players in the NBA. Laker fans, I don't know, some have the delusion that he's the second coming of Kobe Bryant or Kawhi Leonard. That's why a lot of Laker fans, when you asked them last year, should the Lakers trade THT for Kyle Lowry? Oh, no. Why? Because he's our future. He's the guy that we're going to build around after LeBron James leaves the Lakers or retires. Like, really? You're going to build around a guy that's averaging 7 points a game, and you're only impressed with him because he made a few highlight dunks in the summer league, and also he had like 25 points one night in preseason. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, we found Kobe 2.0." Yeah.
Big B, I'll go to you next here. I mean, what is your thoughts on the Lakers blowing a 23-point lead here, man? But you also call my Lakers the AARP Lakers.
Yep, they are. I mean, Pelicans slapped them harder than Will Smith slapped Chris Rock today. So, but somebody once told me that Austin Reeves should be winning Rookie of the Year. I can't remember which Laker fan told me that. It might be the guy in Square 2.
It was the one that said that Austin Reeves would win Rookie of the Year. And then when he said that, I was like, what the man? He's an undrafted rookie. The Rookie of the Year. Cunningham.
He made the team as an undrafted rookie. I give him all the props, but your Rookie of the Year is not going to average 2 points a game, a couple rebounds here and there, and all that fun stuff. But, Lakers, if they don't make the playoffs, there's going to be a lot of off-season moves. I know I read a report that they don't want to trade Davis. They don't want to trade LeBron, but you can't come back with the same team as you did last year. You got to go younger. But, yeah, it was I think Laker fans kind of have to open their eyes a little bit and just see that this team is not 2010, guys. It's 2022. LeBron, played his heart out. I don't think anybody can deny his talent, his heart. Yeah, his ego gets in the way a little bit, but, it is what it is. Lakers are holding on slim hope for the playoff or the playing game first. I mean, you got to get that stepping stone out of the way first. So, we've already heard Isaiah for the 5th time, I think, put a cap on the Lakers season. So, but all right, let's move on. Lakers are probably not playing the playing game.
Probably not here. I think probably the last 2 weeks is going to be determinant of the Lakers' playoff fate here. Anyways, in one of the most important games of the season, Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks came out on top to defeat the Utah Jazz 114-110 and gain home court advantage for playoff seeding. I think that this was a big win for the Dallas Mavericks. And Isaiah, you know that this Dallas Mavericks team is going to be tough to watch down the stretch here. What is your overall thoughts on this win for the Dallas Mavericks?
Well, this was a very impressive win by the Dallas Mavericks. I think last week when they beat, I forgot who it was that they beat, but Luka only had like 15 points and they still managed to win by double digits. I proclaimed that victory last week as the Mavericks' most impressive victory of the season. And, you know, I'm still sticking that game was very impressive, like was the most impressive win by the Mavericks. But this one was, it was just reaffirming that, you know, the Dallas Mavericks are a very different team this year. This is not the same team that you look at the last couple of years that lost to the LA Clippers in the first round. This is a Dallas Mavericks team that I think right now could go to the Western Conference Finals. That's how lethal, this is how deep that this Dallas Mavericks team is, and that's how well coached that they are. And, you know, Luka had 32 points and 10 rebounds in 33 minutes, but it was the other guy stepping up, which is something that they didn't do last year and the year before for Luka and to support him. I mean, Bullock had 23 points. Dorian Finney-Smith had 8 points. Jalen Brunson, he had 22 points. Spencer Dinwiddie, who they got in the Kristaps Porzingis trade, he had 12 points and 4 rebounds and 2 assists off the bench. I mean, these guys are just coming together. They are supporting Luka Doncic in ways that we haven't seen before. And I think that this Mavericks team, I really would be shocked if they don't make a big run deep into the Western Conference playoffs, just because you have Luka, a superstar, you have the supporting players now, and I would not be shocked if the Mavs don't make the Western Conference Finals or do make the Western Conference Finals.
Big B and James, what is your overall thoughts on the Mavs beating the Jazz here? And if you look at it here, the Mavericks, you know, they're turning it up at the right time here. I mean, both of you guys, one of you can go first here. Both of you guys here, do you think that with the Mavs beating the Jazz, are they for real heading into the playoffs here?
Oh, yeah, they're for real. I mean, they're playing good at the right time. I think over the last week they split with my Timberwolves, who right now the Timberwolves, I know they lost to Boston the other night, or it might have been tonight, but Timberwolves are turning it on. So I think the Mavs are real. I don't know about the finals yet, you know, because I know a couple teams ahead of them, you know, are battling some injuries. So, I mean, yeah, they could make a decent run, but again, you know, teams get hot at the right time. So right now, any team that's in the playoff hunt's playing playoff basketball right now. It's not, you know, only game 10 of the regular season. Right now it's playoff basketball if you're contending right now. So Mavericks, I expect they're going to hold on to their playoff seed. I don't think they can fall. I think they can only move up. So the next few games is going to determine what kind of Mavs team we're going to see in the playoffs, I think.
What about you, James? What is your takeaway on this game between the Mavs and the Jazz here?
Yeah, Isaiah mentioned the game last week. It was sorry, Big B. It was last Monday against Timberwolves. It was a great back and forth game. The Mavericks only won by 2. But they showed that not only, you know, Luka with 15, but everybody else contributed, and it's something they haven't really done, because when you have the dude that looks like Ivan Drago, you know, stalling your offense, Kristaps Porzingis, you know, wanting the ball at times, you know, you didn't get a good flow of the offense. Now he's gone and everything's flowing like water. Everything's better. So with the Mavericks winning tonight, they're a game ahead of Utah. They would meet up and Dallas would have home court. They're only 2 games back of the Warriors, who have fallen for the 3rd spot. So that's something to keep in mind. Big B mentioning that they can move up to that 3rd spot. They would end up facing the Nuggets in that case, and they have some injury issues. So, yeah, they're getting hot at the right time. And I think making that Porzingis trade was the biggest key because, like I mentioned, it seemed like he was always in the way of things with the Mavericks. And then with the Knicks, I don't know what happened, but he got injured a lot. More on the Jazz, though. Mitch only having 12, Conley and Clarkson only have 14. Rudy Gay was their highest scorer with 18 points. Rudy Gobert, Mr. NBA COVID, didn't play tonight. So, total team effort, though, by the Mavericks. Isaiah mentioned the scoring with 4 guys in double figures. And they're going to need that. And with the way the West is going, like I mentioned, the Mavericks can even climb to the 3rd spot before the regular season ends.
Anyways, with that being said here, moving on our program here is that the Boston Celtics move into first place in the Eastern Conference with a win over the Minnesota Timberwolves, 134-112 here. Big B, you were just talking about it. I'm going to start with you on this. What is your thoughts on this game overall? And I know that Minnesota is starting to play really good basketball. This team is for real with Karl-Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards. But for the Celtics, they started from being 11th now to 1 in the Eastern Conference. And credit goes out to Ime Udoka for doing such a great job with this team down the stretch here. And I'm going to start with you on this and get your perspective from a T-Wolves fan.
First off, props to the Timberwolves because, people know me. I didn't think they were going to be in the playoff hunt. I thought they'd be fun to watch. I thought they'd pull off some upsets. Thought they play spoiler, but I think they're now a game out from the 6th spot, pretty much in the playoff tournament. Props out to them. It's just looking great. I think there's still one solid veteran away that has that playoff experience from really coming together. But the Celtics, they're on fire right now. Like you said, Low World, they were 11th. Now they're in the top seed, so they're coming together too. So, like I said when we talked about the Mavericks game, these teams are for real. They're playing playoff basketball right now. The playoffs might not start for another couple weeks, but these teams that are in the hunt, they're playing playoff basketball right now. To them, it's one game at a time. They can't lose. They can't show weaknesses. They got to come out and play 150% every night. So, props to the Celtics.
And what about you, Isaiah? Boston continues to prove you wrong. And we both thought that they were just more of a play-in team, but this Boston Celtics team is clicking at the right time, and I have to credit Ime Udoka for doing a great job in the second half of the season. The Celtics are not really a first-half team. I think the Boston Celtics, to me, are a second-half team.
I don't know if Ben is watching this show or not, because, with every Celtics win, I suffer, and, he basically gets to celebrate like he won the NBA championship, because I remember back before the season, me and Laurel, we did a NBA preview show, and I remember that, me and Laurel both had the Celtics missing the playoffs. We only had them as a play-in tournament team because we thought that, you had Tatum and you had Brown and Smart and those guys, but it just looked like there was so much chaos and turmoil with that team. They didn't look like that they were together. And I even said this, I think, on the preview show, that I would not be shocked if one of Tatum or Brown departed the Boston Celtics via trade during the season, because it was just so chaotic and it just seemed like it didn't work. And then when the Celtics were 11th and they got off to that really slow start, I did something that Ben always, calls me out for. And that is, I said that the Celtics were total pretenders, that they were not going to do anything in the playoffs, that their ceiling was first round exit, and that's it. And the Boston Celtics, literally after I said that, the Boston Celtics have jumped from 11th seed all the way to now being the first seed in the Eastern Conference. And every game they just make me look like an absolute idiot with my take.
Not hard to do.
You know, the credit goes out to Boston. Credit goes
This
out
is
to
me, Isaiah, with the Boston Celtics. We're going to play you this anthem right here.
Isaiah loses again. 10 games of losing. Isaiah loses again. Skull, 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 skull. Skull, 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 skull. Still keep on losing. Isaiah loses again. Isaiah loses again. Isaiah loses again. 10 games of losing. Isaiah loses again. He's worse than Stephen Wayne. He's worse than Stephen Wayne. Skills keep on losing. Skull, 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 skull.
You know, I admit the L. I'm going to hold this L, Ben, right for you. I was wrong about the Boston Celtics.
And the Lakers.
They're definitely not a first-round exit team. They definitely should have blown it up. They're a great team. I'll say that. I'll say the Celtics, they are a great team. I was wrong about the Celtics. They are true contenders. I don't know if you guys can clip this after the show and show it to Ben afterwards.
We will.
But the Celtics are a true contender. I would not be shocked if the Boston Celtics win it all this season. That's how great of basketball that they're playing right now. And Jason Tatum, he's a stud, man. He's just putting the Celtics on his back and leading them forward during this hot streak that they're on. I mean, the reason why the Celtics have been red hot because Jason Tatum himself has been red hot on the basketball court. He had 34 points tonight. I believe he had like 30 another night ago, 40, and then he had 50 in a couple games back. But he's just been on fire. There's been nobody that can stop Jason Tatum. Even if you double him, he'll still score right over you. And even Jaylen Brown has been clicking with Jason Tatum being red hot. He had 31 points tonight. But the Celtics are for real. They are true contenders in the NBA, and they are definitely one of the best stories in the NBA this season.
They definitely are. And James, what is your thoughts on the Celtics moving to the Eastern Conference first place spot with a win over the T-Wolves?
I hate to damper this moment on the Celtics, but Robert Williams III exited the game with a severe knee sprain. He won't travel to Toronto, so he might be out for a week or two, or even more, honestly. He's the guy defensively that brings the energy, rebounds, block shots, do the hustle stuff. So that's going to be unfortunate without him as long as he's out. But, yeah, Jaylen Brown, along with Tatum's 34, had 31. White with 15. Pritchard from the outside with 11. Robert Williams III having 13 before he left. And that's kind of intriguing to me. With Daniel Theis there, luckily they got him from Houston to now be the center, and he knows the system and he knows that part. Anthony Edwards with 24 for Minnesota and Karl Anthony Towns with 19. But D'Angelo Russell only had 4 points tonight, and he had 31. He played 31 minutes. So I was kind of mind boggled by that, honestly. And then the guy that I praised last Monday, Tyron Prince. Tonight he was fined $15,000 for making
Tyron Prince, James.
That's right. Well, it doesn't matter what he is. He got fined $15,000 for making a obscene gesture toward the Celtic crowd. So it's funny. Whenever I praise someone, they usually do something bad the next time I talk about them. So bad on Prince. I guess the Wolves had a bad night. Giving up 134 points too. You're not going to win games like that. So credit to Boston though, getting the first seed now, and really getting hot at the right time.
They are. So they are definitely getting hot at the right time here. So we're going to have a little debate here for topics 4 and 5 before we move on to baseball here. Sixers star James Harden had a tough night in a road loss of the Suns as the Phoenix Suns wins 114-104. Also, Lonzo Ball scored 33 points, or make that LaMelo Ball, as the Hornets spoil Kyrie Irving's home debut in Brooklyn. So which was the better game here? Was it LaMelo Ball scoring 33 points, or was it James Harden having a tough night in the Valley of the Sun? I'm going to start with you, Isaiah. Which game was better for which player had a better game in this group tonight? Was it James Harden having a tough night in the Valley of the Sun for the Sixers, or was it LaMelo Ball spoiling Kyrie Irving's home debut in Brooklyn?
It was obviously LaMelo Ball spoiling Kyrie Irving's home debut with the Brooklyn Nets. When you look at the Phoenix Suns right now, we all know they're one of the best defensive teams and offensive teams in the NBA. They are right now the best team in the NBA, and so when they hold someone to a really bad night, I'm not even surprised, because Monty Williams is just such a great coach. His coaching staff is outstanding. They have the ability and they have the players and the scheme to hold players, like star players, to a very tough night on offense. But I wouldn't say it's LaMelo Ball, just because this reaffirms what I've been saying all along, and that is LaMelo Ball will be the face of basketball in about 4 years. LaMelo Ball is that good. He is a superstar. This dude is box office material. And when you watch him play every single night, he's got at least like 7 highlights every single night. He's putting up points. He's leading his team to victories. And he's just such a smooth basketball player. And he's so fancy with his dribbling, his passing skills, and also his scoring abilities. And for him to light up in Brooklyn on national TV, on that big-time stage, against Kyrie, against KD, and against the Brooklyn Nets, that was very impressive. That was very impressive for him to go up against those stars and hold his own and go bonkers like he did tonight. Was just outstanding, and it was just a great thing to see. And he's going to be a superstar in the league for a very long time. And, you know, me personally, selfish reasons, I want him on the Lakers. You know, I really want him on the Lakers, but that's not going to happen for another 7 years. So I'll have to keep dreaming on.
Yeah, definitely keep dreaming on here. So, Big B, which was the better game here? Was it LaMelo Ball scoring 33 points against the Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie's home debut in Brooklyn, or was it the Sixers, James Harden having a rough night in the Valley of the Sun?
Well, if you don't like Harden, you're going to pick Harden, you know, because you want to see him struggle. But, you know, I got to go with Ball. I mean, you know, he's a guy that I wish the Timberwolves would have drafted. Not because I thought his dad was going to be a big mount, but I'm glad his dad kind of stepped aside. You know, I thought Ball was going to, you know, have a pretty good career. I don't think he's going to be the face of the NBA in 4 or 5 years, because, you know, there's a couple other guys I think right now that are going to be the face once LeBron steps aside. So, but, you know, LaBall showing why he was, the second pick in the draft when he came out, I think it was, or something like that. I could be wrong. Where he got drafted at, but no, he's a great talent, and I mean, he's fun to watch. Like Isaiah said, he won't be a Laker because Lakers made that mistake once with his brother, and they're not going to do it again. So Isaiah can keep dreaming, but yeah, I'll go with Ball interrupting Kyrie's home debut.
What about you, James? Was it which game was better to see? Was it LaMelo Ball's 33 points when the Hornets spoiled Kyrie Irving's home debut in Brooklyn, or was it James Harden having a rough night in the Valley of the Sun against the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah, like Big B said, LaMelo Ball, that's a big win over the Nets. Yeah. So I just wrote down what Isaiah said, his take. LaMelo will be the face of the NBA in 5 years. I'm going to put that on my wall like Ernie Johnson would.
Can't wait
That's
to check back on that in 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
I won't
Uh-oh.
be here in 2 years.
All right, now we're moving on to some baseball here, and then Tim Hendricks just tuned in, and thank you, Tim, for tuning in. He
No.
thinks Giannis is retiring 4 to 5 years. I don't know if
No,
that's a question or not. And
No,
I
he-
think it's no.
I think it was,
He's throwing it out there because of Isaiah's takes. Because right now, once LeBron steps aside, he's going to be the face of the NBA for a while. So
Yeah, you're right about Giannis being the face of the NBA. I mean, I think that he is already the face of the NBA, if you look at it. But anyways, some news to talk about with baseball here is that Albert Pujols, he's known as Tio Albert or Cho Albert.
No.
He is now back with the St. Louis Cardinals on a 1-year deal, expected to be their primary DH. Isaiah, I'll start with you here. What's your thoughts on Albert Pujols coming back to the Cardinals?
it's a tremendous story. I love the fit because he can be the Cardinals DH. He doesn't have to play on the baseball field. And Albert Pujols still has a little bit left in the gas tank. He's a guy that when you watch him play, he can still hit for power, though he's probably not going to hit like 300 or even hit 280 or even 260. But he can still give you like 15, 20 home runs. And I'm really thrilled to see him back in the game of baseball because I want to see him break. I believe it was it someone's record of 700 something. I think he's only like 21 homers shy of it. I have to definitely do some research on that, but he's closing in on that record, and I really want to see him break it before he retires. So I'm happy that he's back in the league, and I don't know if he's going to be making a significant impact for the Cardinals this year, but it's great to see him back at the Cardinals. It's great to see him potentially retire with Wainwright and also Yadier Molina and have a chance to break that record that he's going for.
What about you, James and Isaiah? What is your takeaway on Albert Pujols coming back home to the St. Louis Cardinals? I think that I knew it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah. Pujols is 21 home runs shy of 700 for his career. I mean, he'll be most likely the DH, so that could get done this season. I don't think he'll play first. I know he's got the pride to say, hey, yeah, I can still play first, but I think he'll take the better route and just be a DH. It's good to see him go back, where he once was and where he had his best years. Trust me, I know. Won 2 championships with them in 06 and 11. I remember both. I think both were on my birthday, or Game 6 of 2011 was on my birthday. And I remember 2006 when they swept Detroit. That World Series in 2011, I remember one of those games he hit 3 home runs, and I was just amazed. And the deal, 1-year deal, it's worth $2.5 million, so it's not too much of a hinder for the Cardinals. This is all pending a physical, of course. But yeah, again, it would be a great story, and it's what everybody I think wanted. If he had enough in the tank left, which is questionable, I think everybody wanted him to go to the Cardinals and finish his career there. They have a great team with St. Louis as well, so don't be shocked if you see Albert, be the DH in a playoff game this year for the Cardinals. I wouldn't be shocked by that at all.
What about you, Big B? What is your thoughts on Albert Pujols returning to the Cardinals after spending the first 10 years with them? Then he spent another 10 with the Angels, 1 year with the LA Dodgers, and then back with the Cardinals where it all began.
no, it's a heartwarming story. He gets to go home, play with the Cardinals where he started, possibly get the 700 this year. If not, he's going to be awfully close. And then there's going to be talk, is he going to sign next year? But no, him going back with the Cardinals, because there's talk that Wainwright and Molina, this might be their last year. Bring Pujols in, all 3 of them go all together. I believe they all came in together, very close to coming in together, all 3 of them. So, but no, I definitely wasn't surprised. I'm surprised it took this long, but that DH rule in the NL is going to prolong a few careers. Cruz, Pujols, you got some other guys probably going to be going to full-time DH. So, I'll be happy to see, and I know once he gets close to 700, we'll see that ESPN's clock, and they'll break in every time he has an at-bat. A lot of people want to see him get 700. So, props to him, props to the Cardinals.
Yep, I think that's a good one right there. But anyways, in January, the Baltimore Orioles announced that they've be changing the dimensions at Camden Yards, pushing the left field wall back by 26.5 feet, as well as making it nearly 6 feet taller. The new dimensions likely to have prevented 200 home runs over the past 4 years. What my thoughts on this? It's an embarrassing move. Oriole Park at Camden Yards is small enough that fly balls can be hit over the wall for a home run. You already know that Orioles Park at Camden Yards is one of the best hitters ballparks in the game right now. I'm going to start with you, James. What is your thoughts when you saw that story?
Well, I kind of knew about it. I saw a picture of it, and I'm thinking, no, I must be dreaming. But yeah, they're gonna move the left field wall back, and that's a launching pad to left field for right-handed hitters. Whoever in the AL East comes to Baltimore, they love hitting there. And the highlights you see of Orioles games, it's always home runs out to left field, and it's always by the opposition, the team.
Oh yeah, because Orioles can't hit.
Yeah, but everybody else in the division can hit. And they love playing there, not all the time, but halftime. It's no secret. Over the last 5 years, no ballpark has seen as many home runs as Camden Yards. They've had 1,140 long balls, nearly twice as many as the 659 that have been hit at San Francisco's Oracle Park. So when you think of that, man, that's just amazing to me, the disparity between those two. And the thing is, it's going to be kind of a danger to that left fielder or that center fielder coming over to make a play, because it's going to, curve in, and the bullpen is right there in left center. Now, you're going to have someone come over from right field and try to make a catch and crash into that wall that's sticking out that never should be. So it's kind of a hazard for the left fielder and center fielder possibly. And I know people are skeptical about how many home runs will still go over the wall. I think it's still going to be a good amount. I think the AL East just got a little bit stronger. You bring in Trevor Story, who's a right-hand batter. That's only going to help Boston and hurt the Orioles in that division. So, it'd be interesting. It'll make Orioles games somewhat interesting to watch, maybe.
It might be, but anyways, Isaiah and Big B, I'll go to you on this. What is your thoughts on the Orioles pushing the left field wall by 26.5 feet? I think that this is an embarrassing move. I'm going to start with you first on this, Isaiah, before we go to Big B here.
Well, when I look at this move by the Orioles, so are they pushing it back or are they pushing it inward?
Back.
Oh, okay. I kind of think that why don't you just keep it the way it is, because I don't really see any issues with how it's being operated right now. I kind of think of it like Rob Manfred trying to fix things in baseball. It's kind of like Rob Manfred trying to fix things in baseball when it's not broken. When it's not broken, so why are you trying to fix it? It makes no sense whatsoever. I think Oriole Park is fine the way it is right now. If you're trying to lessen the amount of home runs hit, then okay, I guess. But shouldn't you want more home runs because it brings more fans? You get balls that are typical fly balls in other ballparks, fly balls to medium, deep left field in other ballparks. They go out. Like, wouldn't you want that? But I guess not for the Orioles. But, I mean, they don't have the pitching anyway. So, regardless if they move the wall back or not, they're still going to be giving up tons of home runs because they can't pitch. And to Tim's comment right here, that is something I do want to see. Like, I was really hoping that they would move the wall up instead of back, because let's say with Aaron Judge at the plate, right? Imagine with his power, like he probably hit a ball that is onto the concourse if you move it up. And with his power, man, who knows? Maybe it could hit the Raven Stadium. Who knows? But man, that'd be hilarious to watch.
What about you, Big B? What is your thoughts on the Orioles moving the left field walls?
Well, one, I mean, they moved them back. I mean, now they have what, probably 10, 12 rows that they don't have to worry about selling seats for. So, you know, they just lowered their capacity. James said that, you know, they had what, 1,040 home runs hit in that park. 40 of them were hit by Baltimore Ravens players. But moving it back, I do look at it as a hazard because that bullpen corner is sitting right there. The left fielder going back, takes one wrong turn, and he's going to be kissing that corner. You know, something Isaiah probably would do. I mean, but, you know, every team makes adjustments. I mean, I think Tigers have moved their fences in and out, you know, every other year, I think, since that stadium's been built. I don't know. I don't think this is going to last long because they're going to probably reconfigure the bullpens and make them flush again. So it's going to look weird. It's going to kind of remind me of the Boston that has the bullpens like in center field or part of center field, but the part of the center field walls pushed back. So, you know, the left fielder is going to have some kind of adjustments to make, and it might benefit the Orioles, and it might hurt the opposition because they don't get to play there that much. But balls are still going to fly. They're not making any different adjustments to that. So you're still going to see balls fly out of the stadium.
Absolutely, but we're going to go back to our comments here as Tim Hendricks says it's a good move for Albert Pujols to be back as a St. Louis Cardinal. Yep. He also says that he'll get that number. He's a team player, so he'll stay at the DH spot, not stop, because that's a bit of a typo there. So, anyways, now let's get to our top 5 mascots here. I'm going to start with my top 5 mascots here. Number 1 for me is from Isaiah's Philadelphia Phillies. That's the Philly Fanatic. He's the best mascot in baseball right now. Number 2, I love Mr. and Mrs. Matt. Number 3, I love Bernie Brewer when he comes down his slide at every Milwaukee Brewer game. Number 4, I love Wally, the Green Monster. And number 5 here, I like Screech, the Washington Nationals mascot. What about you, Isaiah?
Well, I'm going to start from 5 all the way down to 1. So number 5, I got to give them credit for this because even though their team sucks, they got a pretty good mascot, and that is Billy the Martin. I mean, Billy the Martin, yeah. Or no. Billy the Marlin, not Billy the Martin. I'm sorry. I was looking up something about Billy Martin, the manager, and I just got all that mixed up. But, man, that was bad. But Billy the Marlin got a nose like this big sticking out. It's like that big. You could honestly poke someone before he gets close to the marlin, which is a pretty good looking thing. And you know, it's obviously a fish, but it's a really good funny looking type of a fish that they got there in Miami. And it didn't change even when Derek Jeter and Bruce Sherman took over as the Marlins owner. And in fact, they even made it a little bit better with how it was before they took over and how it is now. So Billy the Marlin's got to be probably number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list, I think you got to go with the Cardinals mascot, and that is Fred Bird. Fred Bird, good looking mascot. You got the little beak right here with the backwards Cardinals cap. I like that a lot. Number 3 on my list. You know, if I never even put him on this list, I'd probably get fired from my job because of disrespect. And that is Stomper the Elephant. I've had a chance to meet Stomper the Elephant so many times at the Coliseum. In fact, you know, me and Stomper are best buds. All right, don't mess with my best bud there, but he's one of one of my best friends out there. I see Tim Stomper. But I love Stomper the Elephant. That's number 3. Number 2, you gotta go with Mr. and Mrs. Met. You know, classic OG mascot right there. You always see them in commercials. And number 1, last but not least, gotta be the Philly Fanatic. Like Laurel said, if he's not top 5, that's a disgrace. But he's one of the best mascots in all of baseball, and it's really funny because he got that weird looking nose and he's got that big belly which he just waggles around and around, which is like funny a lot of the times that he's out there on the field. So it's real. Plus he drives that whatever, not a Jeep Wrangler, but what's that he drives that
Yeah, it's
he
a
drives
car.
yeah, and people like players try to steal the keys from him. It's like really funny.
What about you, James and Big B? Well, who are your top 5 mascots heading into the 2022 season?
For me, number 5. Oh man, it's tough. I mean, you know, I'll go the Homer route. I'll take TC Bear because I mean, you know, he's a bear. I mean, he comes out, he gets the kids riled up. I mean, all the mascots do. So don't get me wrong there. Number 4. Just because of being iconic, I mean I guess he's not going to be a mascot anymore because I don't know what the Galaxy or Cleveland's going to do now. But I always liked the Cleveland's mascot. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah. So number 3, I got to go with the Brewers mascot. Just because every home run he slides down, I kind of wish the Twins would have kind of stole that and had like a TC Bear den, you know, out in center field like the Brewers have. So, and then top 2, I mean, you guys named it, Mr. and Mrs. Met, and then low roll. First when you said Philly Fanatic, I thought you're going from 5 to 1. I was going to just like flip out on you, but I'm going to have a tie because I actually like the Astros mascot too. I think he's pretty funny too. So I'm going to have 6 of mine. Top 2 are going to be Philly Fanatic and the Astros mascot.
And I won't have the rally monkey on mine because I'm sick of seeing that. That means the Angels are trailing in the late innings. So I got over that once I, kind of grew up. Well, I'm kind of grown up. Number 5, I'll go with Wally of the Red Sox. Number 4, God.
Well, not Billy Martin?
I'll tell you what, you don't have to worry about his beak, running into buddy because nobody goes to the games. Number 4, I guess I'll go with Orbit. I love what he did with the players. It seemed like one year.
That's who it is, yes.
The road players come on to the field and stretch out, and they do little skits with them. That's really great. Sure. Number 3, why are we doing this? For me, I want to say the San Diego Chicken, only because...
Are you talking about Padres mascot who kind of looks like the Fred Flintstone?
Sure. He comes like once or twice a year to Padre games. But
I know what you're talking about, yes.
He's an absolute legend, the San Diego Chicken.
Yep.
Number 2, I'd probably have to go the Philly Fanatic. What he does is crazy. But number 1, I think the most iconic mascot is probably Mr. Met because he's literally on the patch of the alternate jersey.
Yep.
And he's done all these skits on all these shows. And he came from the start almost of the Mets franchise. Like, I know they started in 62. I think Mr. Met came in like 65 or 64. And he's been there the whole time. And it's a real simple little mascot dude. And you got Mrs. Met there as well. I'm reminded, of course, of Mr. Met, making an obscene gesture to some fans after a loss. So I think that's why he's one of my favorites.
Anyways, with that being said here, it has been a fantastic show here, and we have some final thoughts and we have an announcement to make on the show here. You better be ready for that. All right, so we have a new baseball show on the MI6 Sports Network. It's going to be every Sundays, named to be announced later, as the MI6 Sports team is in the process of coming up with a name here. Be sure to watch out for some announcements here and post from our social media accounts for our new baseball show on the MI6 Sports Network. And that's going to be a baseball show that's going to be happening every Sunday. We also want to let you know that we could be moving that baseball show to Saturdays, which could be happening during the NFL season when that begins, so that we have our Extra Point show continuously every Sunday for the NFL season. So we're gonna collaborate on that. So Isaiah, sorry I pressed the wrong button here. What is your final thoughts on the program?
My final thoughts is it was a tremendous show. Looking forward to Tim Hendricks just got me dying with his comment. The baseball show hosted by Billy Martin. But what a great comment. But great show tonight. A lot of great comments from our fans. Tim, John. I think we also had John and Callan commenting, Christy Wilson as well. So thank you guys all so much for tuning in, and also thank you to Big B and James for hopping on, and Laurel for hosting the program tonight. And I'm looking forward to that baseball show because it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be our version of baseball tonight. We're going to be talking about the latest or the big headlines and games from the world of baseball, and also giving an outlook of our teams every single week. So that should be fun, and it's going to be so much fun to get into. I know that I'm probably going to have to talk about the Phillies most of the time because the A's are probably not going to be doing anything or going like 1-5 in the week. So I'm looking forward to that baseball show. It's going to be fun. Tune in because the first show or the first pitch is April 10th.
Yes, the first pitch is April 10th, and then on Wednesday, we're going to be making our picks to win each division here. And on that baseball show, you're going to be hearing me talk about my Dodgers and talk about how good they're going to be this year with Freddie Freeman and all that. It's going to be a great season for baseball. Big B and James, what are your final thoughts on the program tonight?
For me, it's always glad to jump on, chit-chat with you guys on sports, make fun of Isaiah for his takes. Can't wait to see you guys' baseball show because C2C will have our baseball show on deck Tuesdays at 7. This week we got a special interview. So, and then coming weeks, we'll definitely be giving our picks. I know everybody just can't wait to hear what I have to say about my Twins. But Isaiah, I want to know where the Oakland A's are going to get that one win a week at because I see them getting nothing. So.
We're not going to sweat. We're just going to get one win a series. That's it.
One win a series.
The A's are kind of heading in a rebuild direction. It's because Billy Beane and that ownership group both decided that they want to get way under the luxury tax and make sure that they have enough money. And that Moneyball strategy has not worked out for the A's.
They're going to get 2 wins if they play the Angels whenever they do. So be ready whenever the A's play the Angels. Well, anyway, my final thoughts. I learned something tonight after I got back from working out and all that. I learned, hey, do not make fun of Will Smith's wife because Will Smith will come up like a movie and smack you. and make you rethink your life and what you do for a living. Bye, everyone.
All right. For James Gonzalez, Big B, Isaiah Leong, the agent Skip Bayless, and our producer Stephen Wang, Lauro signing off for now. Tune in to Wild Sports Talk tomorrow for some more news and notes around the sports world. Have a great night, everyone.